Hi guys, Miss Waters here, going to help you out today with your letter writing and model probably the first half of it. So first thing I had to think about was my font. Now there's lots and lots of lovely fonts, and I know when we're in the classroom people like to pick ones that are a little bit obscure, let's say. But in real life, if you were writing an essay at secondary school, at university, if you were applying for a job and you chose a font that was fun, then the likelihood is it's going to go in the bin. So I want you to either pick Century Gothic, which is what we use at school, Arial, or Times New Roman. Okay, I can type that in here, Times New Roman. Pick one of those. I've gone for Century Gothic. Sizing, 10, 11 or 12. No bigger, no smaller, okay? 10, 11 or 12. Right, I've got my plan open here. As you can see, I've split screen. Now this is not a Mac that I'm using. It's not an Apple product, and actually what I found out was what I could do was drag like this. And I did that on both sides. Maybe give that a go and see if it works on yours. So I'm writing from Conor, so you need to think I am a 13-year-old boy. And I'm writing to Lily. So I started with to Lily. So to Lily. I'm going to use the enter button, that's the big one, to go down 2 paragraphs. Why are you writing to Lily? To apologise for what I did to you in school last week. Okay, so I'm going to write to Lily. I'm writing this letter to apologise. I always really have to think about that spelling. I'm writing this letter to apologise to you after what happened in school last week. Lovely. It's fine that it's informal and it's contraction number 13-year-old boy. Okay, so this is not a formal letter. To Lily, I'm writing this letter to apologise to you after what happened in school last week. Now, the next thing in my plan is to summarise what happened. Attacked by Harry and his cronies, you helped me get into trouble, shouted at you. So I'm not going into masses of detail here, I'm just summarising what happened. Now, actually, as I'm sitting here thinking about this, I could just put a colon here. Because what I'm going to do is add some extra information to this sentence I've already written. I'm writing this letter to apologise to you after what happened in school last week. Now I'm going to tell you what happened. When I was... I feel like attacked is a little bit too strong. When I was hurt or set upon, because actually, yeah. So, having set upon there means that I've already got a hyphen in. I've got a dash and a hyphen in my first sentence. When I was set upon by Harry and his cronies. Okay, I'm writing this letter to apologise to you after what happened in school last week. When I was set upon by Harry and his cronies. I know that you were just trying to help me, and I should never have gotten you into trouble. It's quite a simple sentence, but we've got a coordinating conjunction in there. Shouted at you I have on my plan as well. So I've got attacked by Harry, you helped me, got into trouble, shouted at you. So attacked by Harry, I know that you were trying to help me and I should never have gotten you into trouble, or shouted at you. Now, my brain was saying and, not or, but I already had and, so I didn't want it again. Now, if you see a little blue line come up like this, that's grammar. So I'm going to right click and see what it says. In formal writing, try spelling out the words I am. Now I'm going to ignore it because actually this isn't formal. Now, what's this suggestion? A comma between clauses is better here. Okay, let's read it and see what you think. I know that you were just trying to help me, and I should never have gotten you into trouble or shouted at you. Now, I'm going to ignore it because actually we as writers in the UK know that before and we generally don't use a comma. So that's it. That's my opening paragraph. I've hit that enter button, that return button, whatever you want to call it, and I am down there. Can we just ignore that, please? So, next part of my plan. Recall how you became friends. Easy. I've already got my imitator sentence there. I've known you forever. Why would I have to change this? You know, this is why I took my time when I did my plan and I recorded these full sentences. Because now my working memory is freed. How long did I have to think about that? Not very long at all. I've known you forever. That wants me to write formal again. I'm going to put don't check for this issue. We don't want to check for formality. I've known you forever, or for as long as I can remember, which is basically the same thing. Nice. Our mums. Again, I don't have to overly think this because it's there. It's there on my plan. I've got it split screened. I don't need to flip between another house, house. Especially when my mum or yours babysits. I'm doing it forever or for as long as I can remember, which is basically the same thing. Our mums have been friends since before we were born, and you are like sister. You are like sister. This is why it's so important we go back through and reread. You are like a sister who lives in another house, especially when my mum or yours babysits. I'm going to add something on here because, for me that doesn't quite make sense. Sorry, it was the cat knocking something. And you are like a sister who lives in another house, especially when my mum or yours babysits, and we get to play together. That's what they're saying. Is it's like we're brother and sister when we're in the same house and we get to play together. Okay, I've known you forever, or for as long as I can remember, which is basically the same thing. Our mums have been friends since before we were born, and you are like a sister who lives in another house, especially when my mum or yours babysits and we get to play together. I might just finish that with you're my best friend. Because that's what this paragraph is about. This paragraph is explaining the fact they've been friends for such a long time. Press enter. I've done all that. I'm on the what did she do to upset you? Now, imitated sentence you would see here. I'm looking at this bit here. I think I'm going to start with this imitated sentence, tell her how it made me feel, and then tell her how it affected other people. And Tobias is going to get out the way. Okay, but then his mum's little talk had happened. It really upsets me. It really upsets me. I know. When I think about what you did. After... Well, this is handy, isn't it? Can't even see. There we go. After my mum's... now, if I look at that imitated sentence that I'm using there, I can see that mums has an apostrophe because the talk belongs to mum, and around mums is inverted commas. So I'm magpieing that and I'm putting it here as well. After my mum's little talk had happened, what came next was simple, comma, really, and sudden. So can you see that what I have done is I've taken this, but then his mum's little talk had happened, and what came next was simple, really, and sudden. And I said, upsets you when I think about what you did. After my mum's little talk had happened, what came next was simple, really, and sudden. No one knew. Then your mum knew, of course. Then you knew. Now you've imitated this sentence last week on Friday, so go back, take it, use it. And then everyone knew. Everyone. I'm magpieing that. I think, that is short sentences used for effect there. That is repetition. That has an impact on the reader. Sometimes we say don't repeat things because it's not cohesive, but this is. Yeah, this is done for impact. This is to really emphasise the fact that actually everyone knew, which changed. Now, I know this says the world, but I'm really tempted to change the determiner the to my world, to possessive. I will go with whole world. I'll keep that expanded noun phrase in a single day. Right. It really upsets me when I think about what you did. After my mum's little talk had happened, what came next was simple, really, and sudden. No one knew, then your mum knew, of course, then you knew, and then everyone knew. Everyone, which changed my whole world in a single day. Now I tell you, now I do this, how to change people's behaviours. I talk about how it changed my world. So people, maybe not people, everyone, then I'm repeating the same word again. I'll just put people felt sorry for me. No, this isn't the time to be revising. This isn't the time to be sitting here for ages and ages thinking about what I'm going to write. This is time to get all my ideas out, get it all on paper, and then tomorrow and the following day when we revise and edit, that's when I'm going to refine it and really think about that language. People felt sorry for me. Comma, I might use a list here. Teachers treated me differently. And Harry began to pick on me. I had become, I think I want to do it like that. I think I want to say I had become the boy whose mum has cancer. Inverted commas inside the full stop, because actually it's the boy whose mum had cancer, not the entire sentence. Okay. I was really cross. I was and still am. Let's have a bit of parenthesis. Really cross with you and your betrayal. How's that? Really upsets you when I think about what you did. After my mum's little talk had happened, what came next was simple, really, and sudden. No one knew. Then your mum knew, of course. Then you knew, and then everyone knew. Everyone. Which changed my whole world in a single day. People felt sorry for me. Teachers treated me differently, and Harry began to pick on me. I'd become the boy whose mum has cancer. I was and still am really cross with you and your betrayal. Yes. Yes. Nice. Okay, so if you are wanting to write as you follow along this video, I would suggest that you pause the video here, you go off, you write these first few sections, and then you come back and listen to the rest. I think actually I'm going to write the whole thing for you. I'm going to model the whole letter. I think that would really help. Obviously, if you get to a point where you think, I want to go off and do this completely on my own, then that's absolutely fine. You do that. But I would recommend that maybe you watch it in sections, pause, go off, write the bit that you've just watched, and then come back. Let me just get rid of this cat. Come on, dude. Right. Where are we now then? We're going to talk about what happened. Right. This is a hard one, isn't it? Okay. So, last week, when Harry knocked me to the ground, I was stunned. Tunned? I was not tunned, I was stunned. Okay. Last week, when Harry knocked me to the ground, I was stunned. That's knocked to the ground by Harry. I've just noticed this blue line, the grammar. Just cross. More concise language would be clearer for your reader. I just think really cross sounds like a child though. Children, I go, I'm really hungry, I'm really cross. So I'm going to leave it there. Last week, when Harry knocked me to the ground, I was stunned. How about in a blink of the eye? In a blink of an eye, comma. Nice French adverbial. You appeared shouting. Now, this is great because it gives me a chance to show I can use direct speech. So I've got that comma before the speech, and I've got my inverted commas around the actual speech, what she says. So, So I'm looking at this imitator sentence, and it comes after Sully made the comment. That's why his stomach contracts, because he talks about his mum. So, in the blink of an eye, you appeared shouting, "Leave him alone." Sully's response about my mum. And it's mum. I noticed a couple of people put mum last week. M-O-M. We're not in America, we're in the UK. It's a mum. Sully's response about my mum. Right, now I'm looking at this imitator sentence. Made my stomach contract. I mean, it's such lovely, lovely language. Why would you not use it? To a ball of fire, a little sun burning him up from the inside, which was burning me up from the inside. But before I could react, you did. See, so I've taken that language, I have changed my pronouns, so before I could react, you did. I changed the tense a little bit because it's not that the sun was burning up right now, I'm talking about what happened in the past. So a little sun which was burning me up from the inside, but before I could react, you did. With a cry of outrage. I mean, again, why, reason why we read to you high quality text and we write from them so you can be inspired, so you can magpie, so you can imitate this language. So use with a cry of outrage. And then the next time you write a narrative and someone gets angry, use it again. Use with a cry of outrage as a front of verbial. Ooh. You pushed Sully. I'm going to change this. I'm going to go Sully. And then I'm going to use brackets because I haven't used them yet. Who was totally astonished. So I can play around with the language, I don't have to copy it. So we had pushed an astonished Sully. I've gone, you pushed Sully, who was totally astonished, into the... Now, I don't think... I know the authors use the word shrubbery, but I know when this has come up this year in the class and when words like foliage have come up, it's not words that we know or words that we use. So into a nearby bush. Into a bush. Just into a bush. Toppling him all the way over. I'm just going to leave it there, I think. With a cry of outrage, you push Sully into a bush. And then I might put, comma, just as Mrs. Kwan made an appearance. Last week, when Harry knocked me to the ground, I was stunned. In a blink of an eye, you appeared, shouting, "Leave him alone." Sully's response felt my mum made my stomach contract to a ball of fire, a little sun which was burning me up from the inside. But before I could react, you did. With a cry of outrage, you pushed Sully, who was totally astonished, into a bush, just as Mrs. Kwan made an appearance. I'm going to put here, it was then that I should have told the truth. Which I think then leads nicely into why he didn't tell the truth. So what's going on at home? So I'm going to put home's tough at the moment. Now that is not possessive. The tough doesn't belong to my home. That's contraction. Home is tough. Home's tough at the moment. Mum's. Now what doesn't it like? Now. I don't want now. I don't want it to be more concise. This is a child talking. Home's tough at the moment. Mum's treatments are making her really unwell. That red line comes up underneath what you've wrote. That's about your spelling. So you need to go back and you need to have a little look at your spelling. Mum's treatments are making her really unwell. Semicolon. She keeps throwing up. And is really tired. All the time. Make sure you get the I and the R around the right way. And tired, obviously get tried. I've used a semicolon there because we're joining together two main clauses talking about the same thing. Mum's treatments are making her really unwell. She keeps throwing up and is really tired all the time. You won't believe this, but she has suggested that Grandma come and stay. Now, I'm going to do it like that because I think I think because they're such good friends, she will know how he feels about Grandma. So you won't believe this. I also haven't had an exclamation anywhere. Oh no, that's a lie. I had it in my in the reported speech and in the direct speech. Anyway, I've got another one. You won't believe this, but she has suggested that Grandma come and stay. I'm finding all these emotions really hard. I want to put I'm again, but worry for Mum? No, I'm finding all these emotions really hard. I feel worried for Mum all the time. I feel worried for Mum all the time. The idea that Grandma might stay with us makes me really anxious. And then I might go, Dash, you know how she treats me. And honestly, I'm scared about the future. About whether or not she'll be here. Okay, so we would never normally encourage you to start a sentence with and, but I was really in a flow there. I really had this voice going on. I could hear it. I was saying it out loud, and it's what came. We use the word "and" at the start of sentences when we're speaking colloquially. And again, I'm going down the route that this is a letter from a 13-year-old boy. I think it's okay as long as it was punctuated well. And it is. The idea that Grandma might say of us makes me really anxious. Dash, why does it make you anxious? You know how she treats me. And honestly, I'm scared about the future, about whether or not she'll be here. So I'm finding it hard to think straight at the moment. Keeping up with me? I'm here. I wasn't thinking straight. It's like I'm a Coke bottle. Whoops, we didn't use capitalised form. It's like I'm a Coke bottle. My lid was on and all my emotions were being shook up until finally I exploded. And I exploded at you. I think that's better. That's kind of repeating that everyone structure that we saw earlier. You know, your mum knew, then you knew, then everyone knew everyone. So I'm finding it hard to think straight at the moment. It's like I'm a Coke bottle. My lid was on and all my emotions were being shook up until finally I exploded. I exploded at you. Then I might go, I shouldn't have. I'm trying to be strong. Now, I don't think I need to say for Mum. I think that is inferred. I think it's inferred. That's who he's trying to be strong for Mum. Okay, so you'll see that this section here, it just took me a lot longer than the first section. Okay, so our middle bit here took me a lot longer than the start. So you need to expect it to take longer for you too. It's harder. This is inference here. This isn't direct from the book. This is. Okay, so again, pause here if you're writing along with me. Off you go, write yours, and come back for the end. So here we go, the last little bit. This bit shouldn't be long, shouldn't it? So you didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve it. I know that you were just trying to be a good friend and defending me. You didn't deserve it. I know you're just trying to be a good friend and defending me. I might put please. Could you forgive me? Show Mum's letter so she doesn't tell you off too much. Now, you'll know from this voice clip I wasn't too sure whether I liked that or not. I know, but I also know that I got you into lots of trouble. Semicolon, if you show your mum this, show your mum this letter, surely she can't be angry anymore. Please, could you forgive me? Oh yeah, surely, I always do this. You didn't deserve it. I know that you were just trying to be a good friend and defending me. I also know that I got you into lots of trouble. If you show your mum this letter, surely she can't be angry anymore. Please, could you forgive me? I might put pretty please. You're very sorry. Best friend forever. Conor. So usually at the end of a letter we would write yours sincerely or from or kind regards. But I just think this is, you're deeply sorry. That's nice. I just think this is a letter from a child to a friend. We don't need to be formal like that. Did you see then that I right-clicked because there was a grammar suggestion, and actually we've ended up changing the adverb, so I've now gone from very to deeply. Please, could you forgive me? Pretty please. You're deeply sorry. Best friend forever, Conor. Brilliant. So there's my letter written. You can see, remember I'm using font size 11. It's more or less a page. Okay, it's not the longest piece of writing we've ever done, so you don't need to worry about that. Use this video to help you, use the model to help you, and I will catch up with you tomorrow when we're going to be revising. See you later.